What's going on, guys? Now, as you can kind of tell by the title, I want to talk about physical media, like as a whole. I'm going to go through some of the stuff that I actually have purchased in recent years, mainly to kind of show these are things you just can't like get so easily at one point. They're re-releases, so it made it a little bit easier, but these are luckily things I liked. I'll start off by something I don't think a lot of people know about. Ed. This is an anime that I don't think has gotten enough love. It is not that long. It's only like I can't even remember how many episodes is in here. 26. 26 episodes, and it is just absolutely wild. It's kind of an anti-hero show. Super short, but still amazing nonetheless. Another series I was actually going to purchase, and then found out as soon as I was trying, TikTok showed it. Death Note came out with an all-in-one. This is literally one giant ass book. Now it's supposed to be the whole series. I hope they're not missing anything. I don't feel like picking up the chest right now, so I'm going to go ahead and just show you this as well. I have this, all 27 volumes, came in one big chest. It's amazing. That's something that I hold dear to me. Obviously, I have the background. It's one of the few shows that I've watched numerous times. I can't stop. That and Avatar, which is amazing. But it's stuff like this that has pretty much disappeared. There's another series that you can't even get the first movie without paying over $100, which is 28 Days Later. If you haven't watched it, it's a good movie, but unfortunately 28 Weeks Later is the only one still available regularly. Now, obviously, you can buy, secondhand, but secondhand is going to be expensive. Kind of to explain more on that, Castlevania. Now, I have 2 copies of this, not Black Disc, need I tell you, but I have 2 copies of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Now, this one is an original from '97. It's got a few scuffs. Pretty sure it can be buffed out, but I don't play it. It's not going to be played. I know you probably, if anybody's seen it, I have streamed it because it's on PS4. Now, the reason why I say physical media definitely doesn't need to die, it was digital. Still has the booklet, by the way. But this right here was misprinted when it was sold. And my buddy actually took the sticker off because I hate stickers. And from what I understand, now this was at one point in time when it was running roughly $500 for it. He came across a retro store and it was literally misprinted with the tag we'll say $53. $53, while still a lot, is something he knew I would love. And he was like, yeah, for $53, this game is literally 10% what it's supposed to be. So he picked it up and he pointed at it. He's like, I want that. And they were like, well, what? They're like, yeah, I want that. And they're like, oh. And whatever happened back and forth, they were like, yeah, we can give it to you for $50. We messed up. So he got me at the time a game that was the rarest one I could get of Castlevania for $50. And I got to say, that was the best thing my buddy's ever done for me. And it stays on my shelf because it is such a huge piece of my gaming childhood. And it was something that stayed with me my entire life. I still play it today. I'm a little rusty. If you probably saw my stream, I'm a little rusty on it. But, I have to say, for somebody to still beat it in less than 10 hours, and it is a full game. It's 60 hours. If you try to play everything, learn their, attacks, stuff like that, and their weaknesses. I'm sorry, I'm gushing a little bit over it, but it's a fantastic game. Also have the greatest hits, which is still $100. And when I got it, it was like $10. That's another thing. So when you can get a hold of stuff at a cheap rate, it makes it almost worth it more, not to sell it, but to have it and still, be able to play it. Another series that I think, I own that I think is amazing is the Zelda manga series. If you haven't read it, they are definitely loosely based off the games, and they take their own little path. Now, they still have the same story beats, but the drawings are amazing. The illustrations are beautiful. All the story, even the added pieces to it, are amazing, and it just adds more to it. Now, the one I was waiting to finish, which I think finished now finally, was the Twilight Princess series. Now, there's like 13 volumes. I finally got the last one. I have to double check, make sure it's not a 14th. But that's the series that I started to read on, but talking about 14 volumes. These are huge volumes, not small issues. And if you watched Invincible, that's a great show. Amazing show. If you haven't watched it, I have to recommend it. It's something that has, it's kind of hiatused a little bit because, well, it's animation. It takes forever to do animation. I am impatient as shit. So the compendium, if you didn't know, is it roughly, there's 140 issues, 144 issues. They're roughly $1 and some change per issue if you buy the compendium. There's 3 parts to it. It's still like $150. I know that was a pretty penny. My taxes paid for that, thank God. But it was well worth it because it comes in hopefully this Friday and I get to sit down and read it. Now the stories are, they have multiple differences. It's not going to be exactly the same, but it still follows the same path. So I want to read it and then I can, with brand new eyes, watch the show reenact everything, which I think is amazing. I'll have to state, getting back to Castlevania, I'll give you a little story of my own about a retro store I ran into. If you don't know what Curse of Darkness is, it was a pretty good, really amazing, actually, game. Now, they had secret characters, like some of them became known for, and it's a really long game, really good game. It's fantastic, but a cheap copy is $80 to $100. That's bare minimum. Here's the big problem with it. I went to a retro store, finally looking for one, which none of the Castlevania games in good condition are like under $150, like the good ones. And they wanted $80. I was like, well, that's not bad. Let me look at it. Pulled it out. First off, the case was chewed up by some dog. I think somebody pissed on it because it definitely was a little yellow. The disc was scratched to hell. It was not readable. I'm not purchasing this just to put it on. First off, if I was going to put it on a wall, I'm not now. It looks like garbage. Second, disc is scratched. What am I going to do? I can't play it. There was no way that was going to work. Another game that comes to mind is a DMC knockoff. If you don't know what it is, it's called Legion. Legion is DMC just with these summons you can do. And each one of them has a certain amount of levels. They all have abilities. They're really cool. It's kind of seems like a really watered down DMC, which ironically still made by Capcom. But it was a good series, and I own it literally because you can't get it anymore. I know I've rambled and rambled and rambled, but these are things that this is why I recommend people buy physical. These are things that you're not going to be able to have available on like Amazon for very long. They're definitely not going to be digital. A lot of this stuff is just hard to come by now. Basically kind of reference this. So the Full Metal Alchemist complete box set, which when I bought it was like half price, is still almost $200. And they do not hold too many in stock at any given time. So at any point they can stop publishing it, which is another thing. You won't be able to buy it. Not without having to be overpriced, which really sucks for people that want to collect it. And same thing with anything else. There's plenty of physical media out there that's been ruined and you're not going to get a hold of anymore. But this is just my little tidbit, little rant, just a back and forth of physical media I own. There's a whole lot more, definitely, stuff that I've gotten into. Some Marvel comics, which are just, big stories. Like Civil War I have, which I thought was amazing. That was one of the first comic books I read once they started developing that story, which was, or as a teenager. I read a few of the smaller ones, but that was one of the biggest volume series that I read. Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. I haven't read it yet, but I do own it. I have that on my back catalog of stuff to read. And then Old Man Logan, before it blew up in its own series, is something that I haven't gotten into. But these are things that I think we need to look into, making sure you own. I mean, make sure you have physical media, because without it, we're going to lose it. And that's an unfortunate thing. But that's about all I got to say. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good one.